Shout out to our sponsors at IconBet. Open source, decentralized gaming, no deposits, play straight from your wallet. IconBet, made by the players, for the players. Eye on Icon is proudly supported by Icon Nation and the Icon community. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Eye on Icon, the episode where we go around the ecosystem and talk to many of our builders. And with us today, I'm very excited about this one. We have Icon DAO, and we have a couple representatives from the DAO. One, you may already know, Danielle, who famously dropped into one of our community sessions and dropped some serious alpha, but we'll come back to that. Danielle, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having us. We're really excited to share some updates on what our team has been doing, and I'm sure the community as well would like to know what we're up to. I'm actually here with one of our developers, and we're going to get into some serious work on our project.
Yes, very excited. Rise is also with us now. If that name sounds familiar, it would if you have joined up on the forums and the support section of the Optimus app that is going to launch soon. He is a prominent figure there, just helping the community out, and happens to be a dev in the Icon DAO, in the DAO itself. So, welcome to the show, Rise.
Hey guys, nice to meet you all. Really happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, nice to have you on. Okay, so let's jump right in. Okay, Danielle, first, this is the first time we've had you on the show, so I was very keen, in case our listeners hadn't been, reading the Iconist and everything else going on in the Icon system, that ecosystem that you'll do. I was keen to do. Let's give everyone a bit of an intro. So, first things first, I've always been curious about this. How big is the DAO?
I absolutely understand why you're asking that question, because we're involved in so many projects and, in marketing, development, teaching. So I think that's a question a lot of viewers are interested in. So I'm going to give you like a little bit of a backstory to really explain why our team is as large as it is. Well, like during the initial ICO stage for Icon Foundation, some key blockchain figures in the blockchain space in Korea got really inspired by Icon's future decentralization and DAO governance model. And they decided they wanted to do their own sort of, if they were to take the PREP route, they wanted to do it in a DAO model like fashion. So it was these different types of people within the space who are in different professions. We have investors and we have even a CEO of a blockchain development company. And they came together and they decided to pool their resources and make this DAO. And in this DAO, we're very diverse. We have developers from Vietnam. We have me, I'm also from Jamaica, and we have Americans as well, and we have Koreans as well. So we're a very global team. And our global team now, because of these key figures coming together, has grown to be over 50 to 60 team members. I'm hearing some feedback. Can you hear me? We have a very global team, a very diverse team, very experienced team of around 50 to 60 developers, well, team members. And of that 60 team members, majority are developers. So that's why we're able to sort of have a hand in participating and contributing in different blockchain products for Icon.
Well,
And
no, sorry, you go ahead. Yes.
Oh, all right. So I think a lot of people know our name, but they don't know why we call ourselves a DAO. So I always wanted to explain, like, that's how we operate internally as a DAO, because we each have our own voice. We each can propose a project that we believe we would excel at, and we believe would be a good contribution to Icon Foundation. And everyone gets a choice, and we just believe and support, and then we move forward with that. And because of that, we're able to participate in these different various, diverse projects, development, marketing, teaching, everything. So yeah, I think we owe that to our Icon DAO internal DAO model, and as well as our mission to push DAO products onto Icon Foundation, as much as possible.
Yep, love it. Look, what's interesting, or the timeline where you said everyone came together to set up the DAO. That, like, I know there was the ETH DAO and that hack and the big thing back then, but DAOs really have become a big thing recently. Where everyone's trying to set up a DAO. But it appears that the Icon DAO was set up with that kind of mission statement very early on in the DAO's life cycle. So.
Exactly.
Which is quite.
I told you, these were very key figures in the blockchain space. So they were forward thinkers. So they read, especially our investor side, they read, hundreds of white papers from both Korean and global projects, because our team is global. Our investors, they studied Harvard, Yale, everywhere. And of those projects, Icon really stood out because they thought, grassroots community movements like this was the future, and they wanted to be behind that. So I think they got in early. So yeah, they got in early, and I think we picked the right project.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Okay, so let's build on top of that. So I'm keen to understand. So what has the DAO delivered in the Icon space or out of the Icon space? Because I know you'll have BTP. There's so many things you'll have your hand in. So what are some of the things that the DAO has delivered that people would know of?
Okay, so I'm gonna have to break it down because we've been around a while. So we initially focused when we started our PREP career in 2019, I believe. We initially focused around decentralization to market Icon as much as possible. So we would hold workshops in Korea. We would hold meetups in Korea, like collaborative meetups with even big names in Korea, like Bitcoin Center Korea, just to sort of pillage some of their users over onto Icon. We would go to every single Icon presentation and videotape it or just blog about it and translate it to English for the global Iconists, and just really try to promote Icon as much as possible. So that was our first phase when it comes to our Europe career. So first thing was marketing. Next, we decided we wanted to use or utilize more of our developers, since we have close to 30, 40 developers. We wanted to utilize them more. So we started focusing on developing projects, very large scale projects, rather than just, small like tip and those things. We wanted to have like a really big impact. So the first project we got involved in was to start negotiating about BTP. We have a lot of reputation, from our team members. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So it was only a natural progression for our team, if Icon's goal is to decentralize and have different components to apply different team reps and different developers. It was only natural that our team would be able to take on such a large project and be trusted with such a large project, because we're very experienced and we've been in the space for so long. So BTP was our next, project. Even though it hasn't been released yet, it's large though, but it is coming. And it will be one of our most proud and successful projects to date. It will be the first integration that will be demonstrated for Icon.
Danielle, sorry, what could you repeat that? It just faded a little bit.
Repeat what part?
There we
Am
go.
I doing something wrong?
1 second.
Do I need to be closer to the? So because of our reputation within the industry and our experience and our large number of developers, we were trusted to help Icon deliver on the BTP. Like interoperability has been one of the major, factors of Icon and what they've been trying to accomplish in a long while. So it was only natural for us to jump on board. If Icon intends on decentralizing and giving out certain core components to other developers, to become as decentralized as possible. So BTP was our next major step, although it has not been released yet. It will be released soon, and we will be the first demonstration of an integration between Icon and another blockchain. So we're very proud about that. Third, we're also involved in balance. So with our team, like I said, it's a DAO. One team member or two team members or a group of team members, they realized they could contribute to this very popular, or this very potentially popular or useful DeFi solution. So they proposed to do so, and now they're working with Balance, right? So our IconDAO team also contributes towards Balance development, right? Balance DAO. And of course, it's because it is a product that pushes DAO, which is our mission. Next, we also decided that our team is experienced and talented enough. If we can help Balance, we can also produce our own major DeFi solution. And that is what some of our team members are doing. We have one of our developers online right now who can tell you more about Optimus and what we're hoping for the future later. In addition to that, we also have our marketing projects. So currently, we have a academic program that we are conducting, excuse me, at Vietnam National University. And at this university, we are training, we sort of make it an IT career academy for these students to train them to be Icon blockchain developers. So this was actually funded by CPS. So you can track our progress on the CPS platform. And it was so far a success in our opinion, because now we're sort of training the next generation of Icon blockchain developers. And then once they're trained, we can start hiring them and building our team even more. So right now we're 60, we could be 100, and we can even provide bigger projects, which we're hoping to do in the future.
Yeah, I actually we covered this in the news last week. Gave it a bit of a shout out and saw some of the tweets of the apps and things that are being built, which is quite cool. Very impressive there by the uni students. The things that they were creating.
Right.
Yeah, which is fantastic to see. Okay. Is there anything else, Danielle? It feels like I could give you the entire day, and you could create a list
And
and
I
keep
could
going.
talk. I'm so sorry.
No, it's great. It's great.
Podcast. I'm getting it all out. All right, it's been a long time coming. I'm happy I'm finally here. So I'm making the most of the occasion. Okay, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
So I guess if I had to say one more thing is right now we're focused on Optimus. We believe this will be a very useful product in the DeFi space, not only for Icon, but for the other for the DeFi space in general. So we're focused on Optimus now, but with our large team, we're going to be also continuing probably work on BTP. And we also have in the works a very major project that we're hoping to announce very soon. That is not DeFi related. It's going to be something new for the community, something completely new for the community. And I think the community is going to be really happy about it. So once I get the permission to give more, details on that, yeah, we're going to announce that. So I would say look forward to what Icon DAO will be doing for the rest of the year and even in the future. But right now, focusing on Optimus.
Okay, no, excellent. Oh, and a tease as well. Okay, great.
Amazing.
Looking forward to what that project could be. But look, let's. That's a great overview, and it's great to see that you have your hand in so many diverse things as well. It's not just building. From what you mentioned, there's workshops. You're always constantly trying to build more of a presence for Icon and recruit devs in that process. So. Coming back to the focus now that you mentioned Optimus. So let's say for a moment, no one knows what Optimus is, right? So what is it? Who wants to take this? Rise, Danielle. Let's give a quick overview of what Optimus is.
I've talked so much. Developer, maybe one of our developers should jump in for a little bit.
Okay, Rise, over to you.
Okay, so in short, Optimus is carving an on-chain yield optimizer that maximize your investment return with a minimal risk level possible. So Optimus is going to receive your deposited ISAC, and it is going to invest ISACs in lending pools like Balance and Ohm, and try to return the reward for you in an automated fashion. So in general, that's how Optimus works.
Okay, great. So let's, Rise, could you elaborate and give us a couple of examples of what kind of strategies we will see? Because that's what it essentially is, right? It's a strategy that is in place through Optimus that you take part of, that it will automate a process based on the strategy. So do you want to talk to us a little bit about the strategies that will be offered at launch?
Okay, so at launch, we are going to focus on integrating with Balance and sort out all of our users who's been borrowing BNUSD and who have supplied ICF into the ICF as ICF pool will be our targeted users. So we originally are going to support two strategies. One of them is borrowing, and the other is liquidity provider. So for the borrowing strategy, you can imagine like you can deposit ITech in the strategy, and it will borrow BNUSD for you at a safe threshold level. So if you guys may notice, like if you have used to borrow BNUSD before on balance, in the case of have like a very quick drop of ITX price, your borrowing position can be liquidated at a very low price. So occasionally, I imagine like our balance users will have to monitor their borrowing position frequently. So Optimus will automate that process for you. You don't have to care about your borrowing position anymore. The protocol itself will automatically adjust the borrowing position in a safe level. So we will continuously monitor the ICF price. So in case like ICF price drops too fast, it will pay back a portion amount of BNUSD to keep your borrowing position at a safe threshold level. And in case like ISAC price seem to increase like day by day, every month, every week, for example, we will borrow more BNUSD to maximize your balance reward return. So for the borrowing position, we will always automatically make sure your borrowing position generates the highest return possible with the lowest risk possible with our automation bot, right? And for the liquidity provider strategy, so if you deposit ISAC in the ISAC and SISAC pool, you will notice like occasionally your ISAC can be converted into SISAC, and you will have to manually log into the balance application. You need to unstake the SISAC and claim back the ISAC amount, then deposit in again. So it's quite a manual process over there, and Optimus is going to automate all of those processes, and you don't have to take care and you don't have to monitor your liquidity provider position anymore. Like all of your SS, ISAC, once it's been converted into SISAC, the protocol will automatically unstake and deposit in again in a pool for you to maintain and ensure that you will always earn balance rewards. So those are the two strategies that we are going to support initially for Optimus.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like I'm just going to have a bit of a say here as well, because this loan monitoring is brilliant. All of a sudden, you can borrow and not worry about liquidation. So for me, for example, when I use Balance, I'm using Balance and I don't borrow over liquidation of, say, 40 cents or 20 cents. I play it extremely safe. However, if I used Optimus, I don't have to worry about that because it will borrow almost up to max and it will automatically keep adjusting my loan so that I don't face any liquidation risk and at the same time maximizing my balance rewards. So it's brilliant, and I see it being a huge hit instantly when the DApp launches. So great to hear. And the second one, yes, especially I see this frequently on Balance. People still go into that pool and don't realize that when you enter your ICX in that pool, it will stake it after some time, which means someone has initiated a swap from SICX to ICX instantly, and it's taken your ICX and given it to them and replaced it with SICX. That's what's happening, and that's why you end up with SICX, and then you kind of have to manually unstake it and go through the process of adding it to the pool again. But this strategy will basically do that for you so you don't lose any time, and the best part is that it will always make sure that you are coming out on top. You're not losing anything through the process. So that's the goal with the first two strategies that are on Optimus, which is fantastic. Cool. No, that's a great overview. So I guess, Rise, since you've been one of the things that both Danielle and you have been very vocal about is highlighting that Optimus is a DAO in every way. You want it set up as a DAO. Every component of moving forward, once we deploy, you want it operating in a fashion that a DAO does. So I thought, why don't we talk a little bit about that? What are you hoping will happen here once post-launch? How do you see Optimus evolving?
Okay, so I think like after launch, like probably 1 or 2 months, we are going to have like some new strategies being developed, and we would encourage to have the community developers to join that process. So in the ecosystem of Optimus, like there is an actor naming as a strategist, and a strategist can be any community developer who wants to contribute to the Optimus product. Like they can develop their own strategy, and then they can propose that strategy up, and we will have the community voted in order to activate that strategy. So all of our users who have and stake Fin token, they have a voice to say like this strategy is what they want to have in Optimus, and we will go in through capital proposal process in a very decentralized way. And for all the users who already staked the Fin token and voted for the proposal, they will share the revenue generated by that strategy, including the strategist. So initially, we are going to talk to some community developers. We will try to build a community developer for focusing on the smart contract side first. And then ongoing forward, we would encourage some more front-end dev members as well, so they can like publicly contribute into our front-end repo, and we are going to public it. So in a longer direction, we envision that Optimus is going to be a completely DAO, where all the community members and the community developers can join together and bring the product to a much better stage in the future. So that's a strategy in a long-term vision.
Yeah, look, I love that. And what's so cool about that is if we attract that community dev, we attract that talent. The rate at which Optimus could grow from in terms of strategies it could have in place will reflect that. What I'm getting at is if we can have a large community engaging, the strategies available on the platform can expand quite quickly. And just to talk through a little bit, so for example, what you're proposing, Rise, what you're saying is the community could come together and go, okay, the next strategy, for example, is, and in this scenario, let's paint a picture here. Balanced has gotten its next update, and now it's block by block rewards, just like Ohm. And one of the strategies the community would like to see is essentially an automated way of entering the LP pool. So let's say Balanced and BNUSD, which is giving 100% yield at the moment. And at the same time, while you're earning block by block rewards, it's compounding that back into the LP. So that 100% can pretty much go to close to 200% APY because it's compounding it every 2 seconds. So based on what you've discussed, a community could actually draft that, make sure it's viable, and community members can then put it up for voting if this is what the community, the token holders, the FIN token holders for the Optimus platform would like to see. And it gets voted and agreed on, and then we could see that strategy being created and introduced into the platform. Is that a good summary of how it would work?
Yeah, that's entirely true. Initially, we do plan to support all the liquidity, all the LP pairs as well.
Yep.
But the reason of choosing SISEC and over ISEC is because like there might be some new users in the space, and we want to make clear that they are aware that the objective of our protocol is only get more return and more profit for you. We don't want them to lose like any of their ICX. So pools, the LP pairs with impermanent losses might be kind of like a further later integration proposed by the community members once like a lot of Optimus users already get familiar with the protocols. But what I just want to say is the capability of extend and build new strategies is very much, and the community members can entirely raise their voice and make their own suggestion and vote together to make it come true.
Yeah, love it, excellent. So, okay, let's focus a little bit on the token. Now, you mentioned there is a token. I've gathered, and everyone would have, it's a governance token, of course. And do you want to talk a little bit about what the token is going to enable? So, governance features, what kind of supply are we looking at? It's very different to what Balance and Ohm have done. Maybe the distribution is the same, but it appears to be a much lower in quantity supply. Do you want to talk through that a little bit?
Okay, so regarding the token economics, we are going to launch FIN as our governance token. So FIN is going to be minted like 10,000 per day during the first 30 days. And on the first day of the second month, it's going to decrease like 0.5% every day until when it reaches 250 perpetually. So you guys can always check out in the .optimus.finance at the FIN token economics section to get into more details about that. But in general, the number of FIN being minted will be much less in comparison to Balance and Ohm. And also the usability of FIN is mostly going to be used for governance and voting procedure. So you guys can always mint FIN token by being a depositor, by using our product, by depositing ICX into the protocol. And you can also supply the FIN pairs on balance specs to earn from the minting rewards as well. And in terms of functionality, users who stake the FIN token, they will have a voice in making all the changes in the protocol itself. And also for the new strategies being created, like they will have a voice saying if they want to make this strategy become kind of like official strategy in Optimus or not. So, and once the voting procedure of a new strategy creation has gone through, the protocol will share out the revenue based on the ratio between the voters, like the people who stake the FIN token, and the strategists, like the people who created the strategies.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's
Mm.
a lot of information. So it brings meaning to the voting aspect, right? So the more people who actually stake and partake in the voting aspect, when proposals are being put up and strategies are being created, they will get rewarded for that participation in some way.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, cool. So that's the token. So this, I'm personally excited about this token. Why? I love yield aggregators. You know, anything that automates something is brilliant in my books. But I do like that. It's a much lower supply than everything else that has launched, especially on the Icon network. So that's kind of a different. Approach you'll have taken regards to token, and I feel it's a great one personally. So, look, we've spent now a bit of time talking about, we know it's a yield aggregator. It is, instead of a traditional term in this space as vaults, we are calling them strategies. Why? Because that's what they are, and let's keep the terminology so we don't confuse a new user who comes into the ecosystem. Because at the end of the day, that's where in Icon, that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to build protocols to enable the everyday person to venture into crypto and feel like they can use it, rather than trying to learn a whole new world language and understand how to use it. So I think mission accomplished there. Now let's talk about BTP. So we know it'll support balance, for example, but obviously other dApps like Ohm and things like that, we will see Optimus slowly start to introduce strategies for those applications.
Yeah, that's entirely in our future plan as well. Like we do also work with the balance team, mostly in the front end work. But we also know that balance is going to integrate the BTP, and they will introduce a lot more collateral type assets by leveraging the possibility of integrating BTP. So in the future, like I can imagine kind of like a user holding Ethereum, they can possibly like deposit in the balance pool and kind of like borrow some more assets and earns balance reward from that. So with the growth of balance integrated to BTP, like I assume like there will be more and more strategies depending on the assets type that going to be implemented in the balance. And we will based on those integration and try to see like what we can optimize and kind of like reduce the manual process for the users and kind of like help them increase their balance reward return. So new strategy will be introduced with the integration of BTP into balance.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Rise, I'm going to go off script here, and given that you are a dev and you're well versed in the ecosystem, when you think BTP and Optimus, what is something that gets you very excited to see Optimus leveraging? I mean, you've given the example of balance and new collateral types. Is there any other way you see Optimus utilizing BTP and cross chain assets? Is there anything else that excites you in that formula?
Well, this is something that we've been thinking about, but it's not entirely, like official yet,
Yep.
and we are still considering about it. But this is something that we can think in the future. So if you guys know about Carpet EM product on Ethereum, where the users can deposit a certain type of assets into the pool, and they can kind of like farm some more tokens in return back. So I think that's something that we can introduce in the future for Optimus as well. Like in the future, like depending on all the coins and token that can be exchanged into BTP, we can introduce kind of like a new mechanism of farming those tokens by using Optimus as well. And we can might introduce kind of like a new token specifically for the farming purposes. And for all the users who've been familiar with Ethereum farming products, they might see Icon as a new opportunity with low transaction fee and high performance, and kind of like a lot of support from the community members. They might we will try to introduce more farming opportunities into Icon by using Optimus integrating with BTP. So that's kind of like a big picture that we can think of in the future for the development of Optimus.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very excited about that. And I think this is where it comes really ties in when you start. Danielle was talking about the first project being BTP and how big it truly was, and really how early it had started. And then, the team saw this product fit Optimus, and they've gone and started creating this, and how it's going to tie in together and enable so many possibilities. It really is exciting. That's fantastic. Okay, is there anything else, Rise, that you feel you want to get across for Optimus that we haven't covered?
Um, I think so far, kind of like we introduced kind of like a communication platform that received kind of like a certain level of feedback from the community members. One of the reasons why we are not using Telegram or Discord, and we actually try to convince our users using Moin more. So um, it's quite difficult, and it's gone through some discussion internally. But we do believe that Moin will help us a lot in the capability of avoiding fraudulent contents and suspicious people like trying to contact your Telegram account saying they are admin of this
Mm.
product and try to get your money. So Moin will kind of like essentially help to reduce those kind of fraud. And in the future, we do have a plan to integrate Moin with Icon Wallet, and all of the users like they can entirely make a proposal and vote using the Fin token right directly on Moin platform. So with Moin, we can introduce more features and more functionality that the user can use within directly in Moin. So you can imagine it's kind of like a chat communication tool in combination with a forum channel, and
And
with the
governance.
capability of voting using the Fin token integrated with Icon blockchain. So we are really excited with Moin, and Moin is also one of our core products of IconDAO as well. And with that capability, we can introduce a lot more features in Moin to increase the user experience of our users.
Right. And in addition, I want to add that one advantage of MOEM is that we have more control over development for our community. So community suggestions can come into reality. Like we will develop what the community wants to enhance their experience on this platform. With Discord, there is some way, but we have more control on Moem to give the users what they want to improve their user experience. So that's one of the reasons we chose Moem to sort of operate Optimus's communication and governance. Yes.
Yes, that's a great call out because and just for context, if people listening aren't aware, so there Icon has a great presence on Telegram. Every project we got a Telegram room, and we also know Telegram gets spammed a lot. Well, and there's impersonators and things like that. So, and it's not a great way to manage conversations, especially when platforms are growing. So we've seen a big push from Balanced, Ohm, even the Icon Foundation now. They've migrated across to Discord because you can have a few more channels across different categories, and you can just manage content better. But at the end of it, it still doesn't stop the impersonators and spammers. You still got to be very vigilant over there. I did not know this about Moem. Moem? I can't say it. I'm terrible with my words.
Yeah, Moem.
Moem, yeah. So I did know Optimus announced this as their communication point.
Right.
And obviously I was in there on day one signing up. And I didn't know it was created in-house. I wasn't aware of that. That's interesting and good to
Yeah,
know.
it's one of the key features. Like it is, I don't want to say virtually impossible, but it is significantly more impossible than the other platforms to impersonate people of influence.
Mm,
It's easier to authenticate that a person is who they say they are.
yeah.
It's not just like my name. Anyone can be Fez, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the features that are involved in MOEM help prevent that. And so that's one of the reasons we chose it, and to prevent spamming, to prevent fraud. And we really don't want those sort of negative experiences with our Optimus users. So MOEM was why we chose.
Yep, I love it. So, because really, what we'll start to see happening, and this is where the integration to My Icon Wallet. So essentially, proposals and stuff will start to come through that application, and it'll be, the token holders via the wallet will vote just like we do on Balance at the moment. But I guess this will be the platform that's used to create all of that and make that a reality. Correct? From what Rise was saying.
Yeah, that's entirely
Yeah.
true. It will take some time for the development, to be honest. But we do have kind of like a plan to integrate all of those features into MOEM. So you will be able to log in into your IconX wallet or HANA wallet or even your ledger device into the account in MOEM, and then you will be able to vote using the PIN token directly on the proposal. Like, everything is going to be integrated into just one communication channel, and you will have everything in there.
Love it.
Right.
I didn't realize this. I'm now even more excited about this platform. Great to hear. Cool. Okay, I think that is quite a good coverage on Optimus. Rise, you did really well. You really covered everything, and I really like the sneak peek you've given in the future where you hope it will go. That's very exciting. It's great to see. That there is a mindset of how can we tap in and attract the crowd in Ethereum and those chains especially, which is fantastic. Danielle, is there anything else coming back to you? Is there anything else you wanted to call out? I know you're not going to reveal the secret project that is yet to be announced, but everything that we've captured today, is there any Optimus news or anything you want to call out before we say our goodbyes?
Just as my quick wrap up,
Yep.
I think look forward to BTP. You know, our team worked very hard to make it be the first integration or demonstration of how BTP can work and will work to interconnect these chains. It wasn't an easy task, and we would love if the community could continue to support us so we can build upon BTP. We don't want to stop at just Kasama. We don't want to stop there. We want to do as many chains as possible, as many smart contract based chains as possible, and we want to work, really hard along with the BTP worker group. They're doing an astounding job, really. So we're very lucky and proud that we're the first. And I think having this conversation really put into perspective just how much our team believes in and wants to contribute and wants to support Icon and its future. And we hope the community will also recognize our efforts and continue to support us as well on our journey and on our career as we grow as a PREP team. We don't want to stop here. 2022, I want it to be even bigger and even more impressive than 2021 Q4 will be. So that's all I have to say. Everyone, please support our projects. We are looking at the bigger picture, and eventually, we just want everyone to be involved and everyone to act together, almost like a community, a DAO. Yeah. So that's what I want to say to the community as my wrap up.
No, it's a great message, and I actually want to reiterate that. So even in our pre-discussions, when I have been talking to Rise and Danielle, and everyone knows by now, if they're listening to the show, I always probe for exclusives, or I'm trying to, just get some kind of information out because I'm generally curious myself. I want to know, and even with the strategies, I know I put a few to Rise, and Rise always came back with this. He goes, that will be for the voters, the token holders to decide, and the community members to decide where and how they want to go. But he would always answer with a yes it could be, but come back to this. So you can see that they're hoping, they want the platform to evolve, but they really want it to be community driven, and they're setting up the foundation in that
Right.
way. So I love it. I was excited, again, automation, excited, but I think the level of focus to ensure it is a DAO and community input is what drives it, is what has got me the most excited now for post this podcast. So really appreciate y'all taking the time, and I'm sure the community cannot wait. I think the next question, I'll probably get crucified if I didn't ask this, was everyone will go ask this and go, have we got a launch date? Did we want to set a bit of context for the community, because we got quite a lot happening, especially with Icon 2.0, and how do you feel, Danielle or Rise, just talking through basically when Optimus will launch? I know we don't
I
have
think
dates.
we've always been sort of open about when testnet will launch and when mainnet will be launched. Rise, you want to give them the details? Although we
Testnet.
have said it, but Rise, you can go ahead and give them the details.
Right. So I think the testnet is going to be available starting from 1 week from now.
Mm-hmm.
And for the mainnet launch, we will entirely have to wait for Icon 2.0 migration to be done. And we will have to make sure all our contracts work properly in the Icon 2.0. And
Right.
it's going to go through the auditing process again to make sure like everything goes through properly. Like it might be take like 1 or 1.5 months from now, but we really don't want to move fast. Like I assume like the direction of Optimus is going to be really safe, and we want to make sure security is our most important piece that we focus on. So we would like to make up like a steady and gradual process where everything is ensured to be working properly. So it might take a little bit long time to launch on the mainnet, but we do expect it to have like around 1 month or 1.5 months. That's our expectation.
Yep. No, thank you for that. And in case anyone listening is wondering, just please make sure you listen. You have gotten across last week's news. Myself and Icongrapher, we actually covered off. I talked through some of the challenging aspects that teams are facing at the moment, because we're at that crucial juncture where we need to migrate. I guess it's, we know Icon 2.0 is coming. For all that stuff to happen, that's what the focus is. So stuff has to stop getting released on Icon 1 so that we can migrate to 2, and then you will see all these projects and some unannounced projects, which Danielle has hinted at. We'll start to see a lot of that starting to roll out much quicker once we're on Icon 2.0, because that process is a little bit different. But in general, what Riser said is actually quite important. When it comes to yield aggregating protocols, that contract audit process, it needs to be, just right. When you hear about hacks and stuff in Ethereum, you often hear from Harvest Finance, Wire, and they bolt certain aspects, someone is capitalizing on it. So it's great to hear that IconDAO understands how important it is to ensure these aspects are audited and re-audited if there's substantial change in the blockchain, to get it right. So Rise, really appreciate you sharing that with the community, and it doesn't matter. It's great to hear that those measures are being taken. Finally, just to call out, so testnet next week, and Rise, Danielle, I believe, like Ohm, there'll be similar, some kind of reward. Have I got this correct, for people getting on testnet and actually trying out the protocol, or has those plans
Yes, we've
shifted?
been getting a lot of questions about this.
Yeah.
Yes, there will be airdrops, or in this community, as we like to refer to it as, airdrips for our excited users. So they can look out for Fin airdrips. Okay. Do you want to tell them the details on how they can, get? Actually, you guys can see all this information on docs.optimus.finance on the airdrip and how they can qualify for it. But yes, Fin will be available for early users as well.
Fantastic. So that's great, and this is what I want to bring home. So I will also have a tutorial out for testnet, how to use and work the strategies, but don't just watch it. Get in there, try it yourself, because you will be rewarded in the form of airdrops, which is great to hear.
Mhm.
Danielle, Rise, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know I've been chasing y'all for a while and then I dropped off the radar, but just it's so good to get such context of what the DAO, how it was founded, how much it's accomplished, and the things that are to come from Icon DAO. So thank you for joining me on the show, and until next time, take care.
Right. Thank you. Wait, one more final
Oh,
thing I would like to say. For information on Optimus, please visit us at docs.optimus.finance. For getting any of your questions answered or to get to direct communication with the developers, please visit moem.optimus.finance. And for just social media in general, we have twitter.optimus.finance. We're always open and always ready to communicate with the community and to share our progress and updates. So please follow us, please talk to us, and please engage with us.
yeah.
Thank you.
And I will ensure I put all those links in the show notes. So if you didn't
Mhm.
catch that, you can quickly check the show notes and especially join the forum and get involved in the communication. Last but not least, if you've listened to this, please make sure you like, share, especially like, the more you hit the like button, the more the algorithms will pick up that people want to listen to this, and we may get some new listeners who happen to just work for YN or, community members there that go, oh my God, this sounds like the bomb, and just come across to Icon. So let's make sure we're helping each other out and get this information out there. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Rise. Until next time.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.
All right. Thank you, guys.
See you, Rise.